Okay, so I've been trying to get Damasso's 500 gig build to work on a physical hard drive. So this is a 750 gig drive that I bought for £12 from CEX. I've got other videos on that. And it worked fine with the 200 gig build of Damasso's RetroPie, which is excellent, but I couldn't get it to work with the 500 gig build. In the end, I ended up buying another 500 gig drive from Amazon, which was about £20, and it still didn't work on that. And I tried copying over the 14 files, tried various different methods, tried using a powered SATA cable, all sorts of things. So in the end, I had the image written to this 750 gig drive, so I copied the ROMs folder over to this, because a lot of the other folders it wouldn't seem to copy, and I tried various different operating systems and various different ways to do it. So anyway, I copied just the ROMs folder over to this 4TB Seagate, just a backup drive. It did actually run from this drive, but I didn't want to use this as my ROMs folder for RetroPie. So I ended up copying it back onto the 750 gig drive. So basically I've got 400 gig worth of ROMs on this Toshiba drive. And if I pop it in the NESPi 4 case, and I found that this drive is too big to go in here. So if you put a piece of paper in, and then slot it in and get it pretty central, you'll find that it raises it up enough to slot in. Sometimes I do it much more slick than that. So let's close that down and then boot this up. And let's switch over to screen capture. Okay, so here's how it looks. So this is Supreme Ultra RetroPie, which is an unofficial build of RetroPie. This hasn't been released yet. I've done videos on it before. It was due to be released, but they're waiting for some key updates before they do a proper public release. And at the moment, Supreme Pro is still getting great updates and looks very similar to this. So if you have a look at the bottom, Nintendo 64, 143 games, 54 Naomi, 141 games Neo Geo, 779 for NES, Nintendo Hack, 79 games. So all sorts of things in here. It really is chock full of games. So 46 PSP games. There's some great games in PSP Mini actually, and PlayStation 272. So really fully loaded. So let's show you how the folder structure looks on that drive and how it all is. So if I hit start and I go to quit and quit emulation station, and yes. So now I need my keyboard for this. So if I type start X, and this will launch the desktop operating system, which is Raspberry Pi OS. Okay, so here's the desktop, and it's running from an SD card. And this that says SD card isn't actually my SD card. This is my 750 gig drive. So you can see here 698.5 gigabytes, 312 free space. And so I created a folder, RetroPie-mount, because that's where RetroPie looks for your games. And if I double click on that, I created a ROMs folder in here. The rest of the folders seem to be created by RetroPie itself, certainly by doing updates and using the scraper tool to basically look for different artwork for games that I've added, because I've also added a few of my own ROMs as well. But in the ROMs folder, you can see in here, we've got various different things in here. So we're going to PlayStation. You can see all the ROMs that are in there. Absolutely loads of them. Okay, so I did notice that Nintendo DS, there aren't any ROMs on here, and there's some really good Nintendo DS games, and they actually look alright on the big screen. So there's no ROMs here at the moment. So what I need to do is go to my server, so go network. And you could get these from a USB stick or wherever you've got ROMs, but it just to show you where you need to put them. And so mine is under gaming, ROMs, Nintendo DS, there's only one in there. Copy that over. So that's copying from my server to the 750 gig drive, which is in this NESPi 4 case. And so that's on there now. So what that means is that when I reboot, we should have Nintendo DS listed under RetroPie. So let's close that down. Okay, so and if we flick through here, go down to NDS, we will see that we've got one game available. Click on that, Assassin's Creed. Click on that and see if it boots. And it does. And it's already set up on Supreme Ultra, so you can see I've got the stylus control here. I've played this in another video, and it is a really good game, and it's even the tutorial is quite enjoyable to play. Oh, have I got... It looks like it remembers the game saves as well.
Use the plus control pad to move left and right.
There you go. So you can see that's working perfectly fine. Okay, you have to press escape to quit out of that. For some reason it didn't quit out with the normal exit bit. So let's go back and let's just show you some of the themes. I've been playing around with themes and UI settings, theme set. So I tried Retrorama, I thought looked particularly nice. Now what I did notice on Retrorama, you can see here there's no graphics on the screen. If I go left and right, it's only certain systems that have graphics on it. So Atari 7800, but it is really stylized. And you can see here, I guess that's another Atari system, or could be BBC. Commodore 64. I love this, that on the top left-hand corner it's got the price, $595, 8-bit, 16th of August 1982. Daphne. Dreamcast, $199. Seems reasonable. So, and some of these Game & Watch games are really cool as well. So you can see here, it shows you, and some of these I've added, some of them. So if this was the actual Damaso build, I'm guessing everything would pretty much be filled in. Because I've used the scraper, I haven't got artwork for everything. Oh, actually most things are there. But some of these, I had one of these back in the day, and I had the orange one as well. I had one of those, and I had one of those years and years ago. So if I click on it, and I won't play this because it's not the greatest game to play with, but I love the way it looks. There you go. So it just looks like the actual, and if I move the controller, you can see the control pads moving and the start and jump button. I don't know what the configured buttons are, but yeah, really nice to see. So let's quit out of that. And so on the left, obviously, we've got all the games. On the right, we've got various different things written about the game, how many times they've been played, and so on. So let's go back. What else we've got? Game Gear. It's a really nice looking system. I guess the only reason I wouldn't use it is that this happens occasionally, and so there obviously isn't artwork for this system. So if I click on it, you can see that they show up, but it's that disconnect that's missing. Whether this can be added, I don't know. But as I say, as a system, it looks amazing, especially when it's properly supported. And you can see here, the videos start playing as soon as you click on a game. And there's loads of videos in there. Pretty much everything seems to be supported with a video. So let's quit out of that. There's another one that doesn't show up. Nintendo DS, we've just done that. So I haven't scraped since I've done that, so that's why there's nothing written there. And sometimes it depends how the game is labelled, how it's supposed to be named in exactly the right way for it to recognise it as a game. So let's try a different theme, because I also liked the comic one. Comic book. There we go. So yeah, this is a really nice theme. And what I've noticed as well, if it doesn't have a theme for it, like a Thomas Wave, I think it puts in like a generic slide maybe, but you can see the writing isn't in the sort of graffiti style, but at least it fills it in, so it doesn't give you blank spots. So Dreamcast, select that, flick down through, and you can see looking really good. Oh, I don't know what that one is. Looks interesting. Bomberman. Cannon Spike, that looks pretty decent as well. A load of Dreamcast games that I haven't tried on here. Crazy Taxi. Oh look, Grand Prix game. Another driving game. Quality wrestling. Yeah, so impressive. So Famicom, Game & Watch, Game Gear, Game Boy Advance. Just really nice. The box art on the right hand side, the video starts playing straight away. Sega hacks. Of course, some of these might not show up because they are like modified versions of the original game. So sometimes they put, like in NHL, it'll be up to date team names and things that maybe weren't there in the original. And different characters together, like Sonic and Yoshi. So actually this theme moves really fast, and I really do like it. It looks great. It's very, very responsive. Some of the themes, I've looked at videos on other people's RetroPie builds, and some of the themes are quite, look great, but they actually are quite juddery, and I wouldn't want that really. I want things to be nice and immediate, and this looks great. It caters for if things aren't officially supported, like Naomi, there isn't any artwork or anything for that, but it still shows you how many games are available, still shows the name of the system, and shows just sort of generic art around the side. It always shows the same shot for that, but that's well thought out because there's nothing jarring. It keeps you in the same environment. Yeah, really impressive, and I shall be playing around with this a lot more, but I also need to try Recalbox. So probably what I'm going to do is end up copying this 750 gig drive, the contents of that, over to that 500 gig drive that I bought, and maybe try Recalbox and see how well that works, because as I mentioned in Pi News, some people favour that over RetroPie. I mean, I think RetroPie is amazing. It takes a bit of getting used to, but once you get more used to it, it's a great system. There's so much you can do with it, but I will try Recalbox and have a play around with that. Anyway, thanks very much to Damaso. I couldn't get your build to work, but that's mainly because it's for an SD card, so nothing wrong with your system. But this is a workaround, so if other people want to get by with in my case, a £12 hard disk and a basic 32 gig SD card to be able to get this up and running very, very cheaply rather than have to buy an SD card. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.